So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness, I find, is really hard to describe. So I'm going to start with taking it into simple steps and bringing you through some of the basic concepts. And I'm going to start with the concept of observing. So if you look in the DBT Skills Training Manual, you'll see mindfulness handout number 4, taking hold of your mind, the what skills. And this is on page 53 if you're following along in the manual. There's different options for observe at the top. But before I go through that, I want to just take you through the importance of observing, because what does it really mean to observe, and what do we actually observe? So part of what happens with people when they have really strong negative emotions is they have these ideas of themselves, like I am a terrible person, or I am a horrible person, or I am bad, or I am wrong, or I am a problem. Sometimes when people feel a lot of toxicity or shame, they feel kind of like everything they touch or do kind of turns to crap. So the observing skills really helps people to sort of like, if this is you and your experience of really feeling really terrible, that you separate a little bit and you kind of distinguish or differentiate this idea that there's you and then there's what it is you're feeling or how it is you're experiencing yourself, which is generally pretty terrible. And you start to develop some repertoire for figuring out that there's a relationship between you and this experience of yourself. So we start with the observing, and the observing is taking a moment to pause the moment, step back, and just notice all of the discomfort that you feel. Just notice. So observing helps us in some ways to shift attention, to reshift our focus. Sometimes it reduces the intensity of the overwhelm. It's not necessarily taking action or doing something or fixing or solving a problem. It's just simply kind of like you take a back seat, you notice what's going on in your inside. It can sometimes be pleasant, as in if we're observing, for instance, the snow falling outside, the soft, quiet whiteness of winter. Sometimes that can be soothing, just seeing the scenery of the snow crystallizing on the trees. It could be pleasant in the sense that if we're observing the smell of tea or coffee, rosemary on our chicken, it takes us out of our sometimes critical and ruminative experiences, and it puts us in a more present moment focus. So observing is also really helpful for people that do a lot of mental grinding, analyzing, overanalyzing, problem solving, rehearsing, rehashing, fixing, dissociating almost in their minds because they're not really present. So observing is an invitation to press the pause button and to shift your focus and just notice either what's going on inside of your skin or also sometimes noticing things that are going on outside of you. There's lots of different options for observing in the book, and I'll just point them out to you briefly. The options at the top of the page of 53 encourage you to notice body sensations. So often feeling terrible involves some kind of pain or knot in your stomach or something of that nature, something really physically uncomfortable or even bringing up a lot of hurt. And if you go on to page 54, 55, etc., there's a lot of options for ways to practice observing. So you could observe not only sensations, but you can observe sounds, smells, taste. You can do a mindful eating to observe what you taste. You can observe urges if you have an urge to fix, break, smash, yell, sabotage, make a situation worse. You can observe that that's just an urge. You can observe sensations of touch on your skin, observing your breath, which is a really popular one for mindfulness. You can even observe your thoughts, noticing I am having a critical thought or I am having the thought that. There's other ways of using observing mindfulness. What I encourage you to do is maybe step in with some of the mindfulness exercises so you actually do it with me with some specific prompts for what to do. So you can go ahead and try that, but that's the intro to observing mindfulness. Thank you.